What's up, guys? Blade Master here, and I'm joined by Maximus Decimus Brides. Okay, we're
Baridius.
going to restart. We're going to restart. Three, two, one. What's up, guys? Blade Master here, and I'm joined by Maximus Decimus Meridius.
It's okay if you just say Maximus.
Yeah, I probably will from now
Yeah.
on. Um, and this is another game in the Week of the Wolf tournament. This is the no, this is the quarterfinals. And this is played between, oh shit, was this the semifinals? It's round two. And it was played between Armenian King and Panda Warrior. In the previous match, Armenian King took Parthia and Panda Warrior took Galatia, and that was fought in Athena. And in this one, I believe Armenian King had the first pick of faction and map, so he decided to take Rome and Alexandria. Smart pick. And our Panda Warrior has countered with Boii. So, shall we go over the builds?
Let's. For Panda Warrior, we have Boii, and we can't really see much of his army, so I'll go over Armenian King's build first. We're seeing this battle from his perspective. In his backline, he has 3 Socia Equites. They are superior to Equites because they are heavy melee cavalry. A bit less armor, but overall it works out due to them having the mass to knock down a lot of infantry. Then he has 5 Vigile meat shields up front. And he has a curious mix of legionary units. He has legionaries and legionary cohort on the flanks. In the center, he has veteran legionaries, which are, of course, 2 veteran legionaries, which are a solid pick. Then he has 2 evocati in the very center, actually 3 evocati. Make that 4 evocati.
Four
So,
Evocati, 4 veteran
yeah.
legionaries, 1 legionary cohort, and 1
And
legionary
his
squad.
general is Caesar.
Ooh, nice. Actually, not nice. Not a smart pick, I would say.
No.
Yeah.
If your units are wavering, you are going to lose those units anyway, because of the high morale of Rome. So they won't start wavering until they have lost a
True.
lot of men. It makes a lot of sense if you bring 6 Estati and use them as a meat shield. Then they'll be able to tank it out for a long time
Yeah.
with loyalty. But in this build, I don't
And
really
on
see.
top of that, the loyalty just affects a very small
Yeah,
radius, is what I recall. So, I mean, even in that sense, like using 6 as study, they'd probably be spread out on a thin line. It's going to be tough to activate it on all of them.
absolutely.
I did try using 4 Praetorians or 4, four whatever they call Praetorian cohort
Yeah,
as a anti-barbarian build, and used Caesar with loyalty of the 10th or whatever it's called, the fast recharge thing.
yeah,
Even with all that, they got slaughtered.
yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
They can, if they have a terrain advantage, they will slaughter any and all barbarians. But on even terrain, no way.
Yeah.
Absolutely no way. Because if you look at
So,
their stats, they're not that much better than Evocati in terms of stats. They have better weapon damage and armor penetration, but their melee attack is still in the 60s, 69 I think, and for Evocati
yeah.
is 61. So you do not really get what you pay for with Praetorian Guard.
Which is why I thought maybe pairing it up with the extra recharge rate, so maybe they can use their whip like twice in quick succession. That
Yeah,
would make them very good, but turns out it doesn't really.
the whip sucks
Yeah.
horribly bad.
So shall we just press play so that I can take a look at?
Yes.
Yeah, let's press play. So far it looks like Panda Warrior's got 1 naked swords, an Oathsworn, some sword followers. So I would hazard a guess of like 2 Oathsworn, maybe 4 sword followers. Some Celtic warriors is basically a given.
Yeah.
He's also brought 1 Celtic bowman, 3 heavy horse so far, which means he's obviously brought 4. Uh, and maybe 2 Levy Freeman or something is what I would guess.
Yeah.
Can't really make out too much. If you want, we could double speed fast forward.
Yeah. Let's do that.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think this is going to take a while.
We can just put it on triple speed.
Yeah, that's what I've been
Yeah.
doing.
So your at what time is your?
I'm okay. I've paused it. It's at 9:34 for me.
Oh, MLG mine is at 9:35. So that's
Oh,
good.
nice.
So just
Cool.
fast forward then.
All right, so we're going to keep fast forwarding.
Yeah. Now I'm at 9:20.
All right, cool.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on here.
Yeah,
Panda
it's just
obviously wants to take the engagements in the open as much as possible because there are really no skirmishers for Armenian King that can mess with him.
true. He also had a glimpse at Armenian King's army with his heavy horse.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so shall we
normal
press
speed.
play now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
809 for me.
Okay, so it's 8:02 for me. I'm going to pause it until you get to. It's at 8:01.
Okay, 803, 2, 1.
Alright. So it looks like he's brought some Oathsworn. What was this? One Celtic warrior, some Swordfall 1, 2, 3, 4 sword followers, 2 Oathsworn, 1 naked warriors. He has brought a commander general. No, just kidding. It's a strategist general with his Oathsworn, and he's going to move back with his Celtic warriors here.
The Celtic warriors just killed 25 Vigiles with javelins. That's insane.
Still not cost effective.
Oh no, not even close.
Much better into, but the veteran legionaries have a very good missile block chance, don't they?
Yeah, they do 50. So
yeah, very very good. Whereas the Vigiles probably something a lot worse.
I don't really know what shields the Vigiles have because I haven't even considered looking at the Vigiles. It looks like they have a Thureos shield, Thureos-like shield, maybe a Pelta shield.
Great.
Yeah, maybe they have the Pelta shield. It looks like they have either the Thureos or the Pelta, but they do not have the Imperial Scutum, which has 50%, or the Marian Scutum.
I'm curious, what about the Saki Extraordinary?
They have the, I think they have the round bronze shield or something. They have 50, I believe they have 40% missile block chance because they do not have a Hoplon. They have the same shield as the Samnite warriors, I believe, which I think from memory it gives a 40% missile block chance.
Which isn't great at all.
No, even though their armor is great, their missile block chance isn't. So they are vulnerable to missiles. Same as the Royal. The Royal Peltas have, I believe, a 50% chance or something.
They drop so quick.
Yeah,
missiles.
they do.
So far it looks like okay. So what's going on here? Celtic sword followers engaging into Vigiles.
Just to get them off the field. They're going to rout in seconds. It doesn't look like, well, he is going to be able to move up here now and support the fight.
Which is good. This is a perfect...
Yeah, the Vigilance held for the 2 seconds they needed to hold for, basically.
Yeah.
And I quite like what he's doing in going up 2 against 1, because that might finish off the sword followers quickly.
Yes.
And he basically needs to do that in order to win quickly, but...
I wouldn't mind him recharging with the Vigiles onto the sword followers, but actually no, because then the Oathsworn would get an uninterrupted charge on those veteran legionaries.
And he's blocking with Vigiles here very well, so the sword followers aren't able to get around. But he isn't close enough here. With
his infantry play is just a lot better. Than most players, I think.
Yeah, I think the pace suits him a lot better. Like, things are happening much more slowly. You can really plan out your decisions and your engagements a lot better than. But look at Panda, the way he's deploying here. He is sort of, while Armenian King wants to do sort of a refused flank, Panda Warrior massively overpowers Armenian King on this flank.
I wouldn't be surprised if Panda Warrior just decides to start retreating back with this and decides to just keep pursuing this flank, because he's got both of his Oathsworn here, some sword followers as well, and of course heavy horses.
So Shai Equite is coming in against Oathsworn. The Oathsworn are going into shield wall. Not in time.
They got a javelin volley, didn't they?
Yeah, no.
Oh, I thought they got a javelin volley and then popped shield wall, which would have been super MLG. But
well, I didn't see a javelin volley, but that was a Celtic bows firing at the.
Right.
But now the Oathsworn general. But here you have the sword followers. They lost in the center, and the Evocati really didn't lose much because they went up 2 against 1. So that was a smart move.
But this heavy horse over here could be a pretty big concern. If he can get a gen snipe onto the Legatus, of course, it would be amazing. He's going to follow up with Celtic Warriors here against Legionary Cohort. They'd actually do very well because they got a completely uninterrupted charge against Legionaries there. But as for the Oathsworn General, not looking very good for Panda, I would say.
No, he's getting ganged up on, but these veteran Legionaries are losing decisively, and they are attacked in the rear for some reason. I don't really see which unit got a rear charge off on them.
Could it be possible that Armenian King forgot to turn off formation attack?
Maybe. Because they pushed forward now, and I think he still has a formation attack, but that he gave attack orders. And if you look at the way these legionaries are set up, if you press space, it's very weird. They're not fighting at full effect now. They're trying to reform and doing very weird stuff. So formation attack is good for holding for a bit longer, but it can severely screw with your formations, like we just saw with Armenian King.
And on top of reducing morale by getting the attack in the rear.
Yeah, absolutely. So now the veteran legionaries, they are losing decisively, but then again, they're up against 2 Oathsworn, so you would expect
Exactly.
that. General is dead for Rome. He just popped presence and then he died.
What?
Yep.
Where is the general?
He's dead. Heavy horse and sword followers got into him, and now he's
Oh no,
off the field.
that is bad. That's exactly what we were just saying.
Yep.
The heavy horse gets a snipe on the general. And yeah, that means it's really, really bad for Rome. Of course, they're disciplined, but it doesn't make much of a difference. When you're getting rear charged by sword followers, like you can see here on top of the general dead penalty,
Yeah.
nothing is really going to, stand in the way. There's these Avocadis, which have some excellent morale, are still steady, which means they'll get to shaken very quickly if they continue in this.
Yeah, and there and all of the Roman units are either losing the combat or just even. And the
Yes.
units that are even are up against 2 sword followers here, but the sword followers do get charged in the rear. Panda just has so much left. He has his general, 2 Oathstone units, 81 men, 103 men. So
Yeah, it's going to be impossible for Armenian to pull this off.
Yeah.
He played well with the Saki equities. He's getting continuous rear charges with them, but they're just eating so many javelins
Yeah.
from these Celtic warriors and so.
they don't have the armor to do that for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And I quite like what Panda did with his naked warriors. He's kept them alive for the late game. Naked warriors charging into depleted units in the late game, they're going to absolutely wreck.
Smart for sure.
No javelins left to interrupt them, no cavalry nearby, and now they're going to come smashing into the rear of this engagement.
If he pops frenzy here, it's going to be so deadly.
But Armenian is actually going to be able to interrupt the charge
yeah,
with his veteran legionary, so very nicely done. But some of the units are still going to be able to charge through here. So
and into the rear.
yeah,
So yeah, they're going to do a lot of damage. But in general, it's a risky pick bringing naked warriors. I mean, the very fact that he has to keep them onto late game means
Yeah.
that they have to survive until late game.
Absolutely.
Which means there's going to be some unnecessary micro.
one cavalry charge by the Soshai, and they would have been off the field, basically
Yes.
useless.
Definitely. The Oathsworn, though, just beasting out this engagement. Like, wow.
Ganging up 2 against 1 on Evocati, that is bad for the Evocati.
But I'm surprised though, because Armenian King won this little battle there with his Avocadis. He could have easily rear charged. I'm not really sure what happened there. Was kind of lost in the midst of the battle.
Yeah.
But he won against that sword follower, so he had a clear numbers advantage. But that's actually something that I saw in Armenian King's game against Barakas. He just bunched up his units far too quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, in some situations it helps a lot, but mostly it's much better if you just keep them in reserve, especially when you have a quality advantage. Like Avocadis versus sword followers, they'd win out eventually.
Yeah, and especially since the sword followers didn't get a charge, they were interrupted. So it was just overkill sending in the 2 units. It could have been effective if he sent them in and then pulled out one of the units after the sword followers broke. But he stayed in the blob, and that was very... Yeah, now he's just going to chain route off the field.
Yeah. Pretty decisive victory to...
Yeah, very.
I think the huge problem here that was basically caused by Armenian King is he decided to take the engagement in the small patch of open ground that is an otherwise heavily forested map.
Absolutely.
Which is very strange, very strange. I'm not really sure he didn't get sucked into an engagement. I think he actively chose to take the engagement out in the open. Not really sure why though.
Yeah, because he didn't have any skirmishers. He didn't have the cavalry advantage. He didn't really have an infantry advantage, to be honest. So he would have needed to blunt the chargers to a significant degree, and that would happen in the forest. So
if he used the Vigiles to blunt the charge in the forest and then come in with his Avocadis and veteran legionaries, I think the game would have taken a huge turn.
It could potentially have, absolutely. But still, I really don't like Armenian King's build because the Vigiles are, if you look at their kills, he's actually spent 1,000 denarii on getting 8, 9, 10 kills.
And sure, I mean, sometimes it's not about the kills, but in this case, like, if you're going to spend 1,000 talents, it eventually turns out to, like, how many kills did they get? Because they're spending a lot of money.
Yeah, and 3 Hastati. If you remove 1 legionary, you can afford 4 or 5 Hastati. So take away the 1 legionary, keep the veterans and the Evocati, they do well. But then just remove the legionary, remove the Vigiles, and you can have 4 or 5 Hastati. And in the forest, they're going to hold really well.
Exactly. And the Hastati would have actually done really well against this Boii army because there are no Celtic warriors to really, gang up against them.
Absolutely.
Imagine like a rear charge from Hastati against those sword followers instead of these Hastati.
Would have been
much
super
better.
nice. And even the loyalty of the 10th could have been very useful then in just tiring out the sword followers, because heat is an effect on this map. So tiring out the sword followers by getting them to hammer away at unbreakable Hastati could have been a really nice move by Armenian King.
Yeah. All right. So shall we end the recording there?
Let's.
All right. See you guys. Actually, no. This means that Panda Warrior has proceeded onto the semifinals of the Week of the Wolf tournament. Congratulations to Panda Warrior. Better luck next time to the Armenian King.
A convincing victory by Panda Warrior for sure. Both in terms of faction and map picks, and just in terms of how safe and dangerous Panda Warrior plays when he's on his game. Armenian King is a very good player, but Panda Warrior, I think Panda Warrior understands the different dynamics of the game slightly better.
That said, I mean, Armenian King did win against Panda, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, but I think the main reason that he did win, that was in the mirror matchup, where both players, because that's the thing, that's exactly what I wanted to do with that type of matchup. Both players have equal opportunities to win if they first play as one faction and then switch. So you first play, for example, Rome against Arverni, and then you play Arverni against Rome. So if you win the first matchup, you lose the second matchup. It's probably a faction thing or a build thing, but you have equal opportunities. But then in the last game, when there's a mirror matchup, then both players have very equal chances of winning. And what Panda Warrior did was opt for Pike build, Pike box, while Armenian King went more rushy with more swords and skirmishers.
Okay.
So in terms of that beats the Pike box in the way the game works now, at least. Because Pikes just do not get the kills they need to. Spread out in 2 man deep, they can't hold back.
Exactly. The units actually pass through them very easily.
Yeah.
Alright, guys. Stay tuned for the rest of the tournament matches then.
Okay, but who is Armenian King? Oh, who is Panda Warrior going to meet?
We have yet to find out, because Atheus has to play Void Dragon, so Panda will play the winner of those two.
So Panda will play Void Dragon. Got it. That's a good matchup.
Bold prediction from Maximus to end this commentary. Anyways, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Strength and honor.